Warning, the views and beliefs in the following program does not reflect the views of Boom Broadcasting. We give full creative control to our creators and do not believe in cancel culture. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Nightcap. It's Friday night, so let's talk about SmackDown.
Live from the MOWM studio, Boom Broadcasting presents The Nightcap. And your host of The Nightcap, mouthing off with Mike.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Nightcap here on Boom Broadcasting, hosted by yours truly. Yes, it's me. Yes, it really is me. It's M-I-K. It's Mouthing Off with Mike here on a Friday night where, listen, we're here. We had what I would personally call an absolute phenomenal Friday night SmackDown here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, come on in. Let's hang out. Let's break down all the action here from SmackDown because I truthfully feel this was a SmackDown of the year contender. Monday Night Raw this Monday was a Raw of the year contender. Damn shame it wasn't the Raw I was at, but what are you going to do? SmackDown tonight advanced a lot of storylines. It opened up a lot of potential doors for these superstars in the next couple weeks. Dare I say it might have opened a window of sorts. Oh, and Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes brawl to end the show. What more could you ask for, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome in. This is game one of the game two doubleheader here tonight for me, mouthing off with Mike. I'll be live here on the Nightcap on Boom Broadcasting. And then immediately after, like within 5 minutes, you got to give a man time to take a breath, drink a little water, get in the right mental head state. Immediately after that, on my YouTube and my Twitter, I'll be doing my NXT Deadline predictions for NXT Deadline tomorrow in Minnesota. Shout out to my Minnesotians. And shout out to Tiffany Stratton and Chad Gable here tonight, fellow Minnesotians. But we got to start with the bad news, ladies and gentlemen. It was announced tonight to start off Friday Night SmackDown. We've got some injuries for the new bloodline and the OG bloodline coming out of War Games last Saturday. We've got Bronson Reed, who has a broken ankle. We've got Tonga Loa, who's got a torn bicep. We've got Jimmy Uso with a broken toe. So we got some injuries coming up out of here when it comes to War Games and the bloodline. Speedy recovery to all these guys. Damn shame about Bronson Reed. For me personally, that broken ankle, just not only is his ankle broken, but my heart is broken for the guy because he was in line for a massive, the rocket ship was on his back. He was headed for massive, colossal, big things. Fill in the blank, pun intended. So be it. Big things. And an injury like that, sets him back. So I'm praying to Triple H, please, when the man is fully recovered and back in the mix for creative, give this man a singles championship. Give him some shine because Bronson Reed has been an absolute gem for WWE these last few weeks. Dami Feds, welcome into the Nightcap, my good brother. Brutal injury for Reed, man. You're telling me, man. Tough, absolutely tough injury here. When you have, basically the whole world in front of you, and especially for professional wrestlers, I'll never know the feeling, but to be so close, to have the momentum behind you, and then just for one freak thing to go wrong and derail all that, I feel so bad for pro wrestlers when that happens to them, man. It is a tough scene, but nevertheless, hopefully, I think realistically, Jimmy Uso is probably coming back first. Broken toe, give him about a month and a half. I think you're chilling. As for a torn biceps for Tonga Loa, for the infamous Tonga Loa, I've probably not seen that man for a few months. Same with Bronson Reed. So I don't know what they're gonna do about this this new bloodline, because now you're just Solo Sikoa, Jacob Fatu, and Tamatonga. So I don't know how they're gonna play it out. They played it out tonight. We'll talk a little bit about it in just a few minutes. But we start off the show with the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes, and he's interrupted by SmackDown, soon to be SmackDown superstar is what I'm thinking, Chad Gable. We get a little Shorty G reference from the Nightmare. We get a little Stardust action here from Cody Rhodes. Stardust mentioned and a Shorty G reference in the same sentence in the year of 2024. I don't know what QB1 was on tonight here in Minnesota, but he was having fun tonight. It ends up setting up a match later on in the main event. Cody Rhodes, Chad Gable, and we get the big announcement from Michael Cole after Chad Gable mentions it in his promo where he says the transfer window is open. The transfer portal is open, ladies and gentlemen. It includes Raw, it includes SmackDown, and of course, ladies and gentlemen, the third brand, no longer developmental. NXT is now included in the mix. So speculate away, viewers. Speculate away. Who do you think's on the move? Because I've got some names right now that I think could be on the move. First, American-made, Chad Gable, Brutus, Julius, Ivy, 100% fit SmackDown. The Street Profits, set him to Raw. Gunther, who we saw tonight here towards the end of the show, chopping it up with Mr. Nicholas the Prickless, as Chelsea Green likes to call him. Little handshake action. Little Dirty Dom in the background. You had to catch him. If you didn't catch him, you missed him. Talking to Nick, all this here tonight. And of course, Chad Gable confronting Cody Rhodes in his home state. Shout out Chad Gable. Shout out to Minnesota. Shinsuke would be good for him, looking for some protection. Ooh. Okay, I like that, Rick. That Shorty G Stardust was great, dude. I low key, you got to pop out of me. I was like, ooh, nice reference there, Codester. Time to think as a Netflix admin. No, ain't that the truth? When you pay $10 billion for Monday Night Raw to stream live exclusively on your streaming platform, you're pretty much gonna get what you want, ladies and gentlemen. You're gonna get what you want, and especially in the sense of Netflix. So I expect big names to be switching brands here pretty soon. I'm thinking LA Knight heading to Raw. I'm thinking the Street Profits heading to Raw. I'm thinking Cody Rhodes heading to Raw. I'm thinking Gunther heading to SmackDown, maybe. There's a strong possibility. There. I think Miss Money in the Bank could be on the move back to Raw. That's another strong possibility. NXT side of things, you already know we got Trick Williams defending that NXT championship against Ridge Holland tomorrow at Deadline. Could Trick be in the mix? Could a guy like Obafemi, All Ego, Ethan Page is another name for the women's side. Of course, I got to say it. I got to mention it. The current NXT Women's Champion, Roxanne Perez, could be eligible for the transfer portal. All superstars could be eligible. We're going to get details as we go, but this transfer window is super exciting, especially considering Netflix is going to get what they want. Now, I will say to the viewers, who do you think's on the move? Do you think we could see the Street Profits go to Raw? Do you think of anything crazy that could take place? We'll let you guys simmer on it, let you think about it here as we kind of move along here on SmackDown. I'm all for it. I am all for it. We got the Women's U.S. title tournament. Tiffany Stratton versus Naomi versus Elektra Lopez. What a fantastic women's triple threat match here tonight. There were some awkward spots, but that happens in multi-woman matches, multi-men matches, multi-people matches. It happens in all of the above. Elektra looked good. Personally, I think Elektra should have stayed in NXT just a little bit longer. That's no knock to her. I just think that Elektra is going to be is in a similar situation like a Raquel Rodriguez. because Raquel was called up before they could really get a grasp of like, who is Raquel Rodriguez? For me, it's the same thing. Elektra has a great, like, she has that attitude and she has the look, but they put her with Legado, but without kind of figuring out like, hey, who is Elektra Lopez outside of being the Legado, I guess mold or glue or mastermind, so to speak. Who is Elektra Lopez? And I think if you maybe would have kept her in NXT just for a tad bit longer, which they tried to do, I feel like, maybe we could be talking a little bit, maybe you could get a little bit more investment, a little bit more fan investment into Elektra Lopez. I will say, I tweeted, if you follow me at MOWM_podcast, I don't know directions. There it is. Everything's inverted, ladies and gentlemen. There it is. I tweeted earlier, if Naomi loses, we riot. So catch me rioting right now on the Nightcap because it's time for Mouthing Off with Mike to mouth off. Now explain to me, please, viewers, commenters, please explain to me why Miss Money in the Bank, Tiffany Stratton, Minnesota native. I know, I understand. The crowd popped for her like she just won the Women's World Championship at WrestleMania. But real talk here, did Miss Money in the Bank really need to win here to advance in this tournament? Because in my personal opinion, she didn't. I don't think so. I would have much rather have seen Michin versus Naomi next week in this or in 2 weeks or whatever it's going to be for the semifinals. Because you got to figure that out. That's got to happen next week because the finals is that Saturday night main event, and that's next Saturday. So both of these matches next Friday on SmackDown, I would have rather have seen Naomi versus Michin and Bayley versus Chelsea Green is what we're already getting. I do not understand. And this is not like, look, I'm not going to go crazy here about this, but like, I don't think Miss Money in the Bank, who has a guaranteed freaking world title shot or a title shot of her choosing, one, should have been in this tournament, but two, should be in the semifinals. Now, albeit, look, if Michin beats her next week and pulls it out, great, fantastic. Michin in the finals, as it should be. Michin should be in the finals in some capacity. But when you put Naomi and Michin against each other, then you tear it, because I'm like, who the hell do I want to win? Both of them. Can both win? I don't know. This is tough for me, man. I don't really need like I don't understand why the Money in the Bank's got to be tied up in this tournament. Like, where's an Isla Dawn? Obviously, Alba Fires was in the women's IC title tournament. Like, there's so many. It is what it is. Tiffany Michin's going to be a great match. Chelsea Green Bayley's going to be a great match. The bracket here, shout out to my man, Rick 8-Bit, sent me over the bracket here right before we went live because he knows I like to have some visual elements. Here it is. We got Bayley, Chelsea Green next week. I'm still giving it to, excuse me, Chelsea Green. And if we're going Michin, Tiffany Stratton, I'm giving it to Michin here. There's nobody, real talk, there is nobody more deserving of a championship opportunity than Michin, because my goodness, that woman has been on a roll. Dare I say, like, when I do my year-end awards, like, I might have to give a shout out to Michin for like super utility player of the year, because Michin was like abysmally booked. She had that Io Sky title match last year on SmackDown, kind of got her stock rising. She headed on over to NXT. She started cooking down in NXT, having some really meaningful matches, meaningful rivalries. She was in the ladder match for the NXT Women's North American Championship, which, to be honest, she could have won that. Shout out to Kalani Jordan and now, Fallon Henley, but nevertheless, super, super, super underrated. Has maximized the time given to her. if it's not Chelsea Green, it damn well better be Bailey. And if it ain't, or excuse me, it better be Mishin. On a flip side of things, Chelsea should beat Bailey. That's a huge win for Chelsea. Beats a former multi-time women's champion to get to the final, to win the first, U.S. mid-card women's title. Introductory champion would be huge for either of these women, Chelsea or Mishin. Tiffany got her win this year. She got Money in the Bank. I agree, Dami Fitz. Tiff is to the moon. The day that, you can get her clear-cut baby face, if you can run that, they already love her. They don't want to boo her. We saw that when she debuted at a chamber last year. The fans don't want to boo her. They're behind her, especially in her hometown tonight, her home state. Tiffany to the moon. That's a core. She's a core 4 woman for the next 10 years of WWE. Tiffany doesn't need it, but when Mishin beats her, it makes it huge. Agreed. That's a really huge point here. Mishin beating this Money in the Bank, big flower in her cap. Shout out to Liz. I don't think she needed to win. Being this Money in the Bank, she did not need it. Nah, I agree. I don't think she needed it, but I mean, Naomi versus Mishin, either one of them versus Chelsea Green is a winner to me. Shout out Rick 8-Bit. SmackDown next week is going to be fire. Yes, sir, it is. In Long Island, New York. Green can get her dumpster win back. Valid. Ooh, valid. Now we're talking a little couple weeks ago booking, Chelsea Green, Mishin, dumpster match, Mishin beat her. Now you can come back full circle and look who's competing for the first ever mid-card women's title. Chelsea Green and Mishin in the finals. Give it to me, ladies and gentlemen. Chelsea Green. Either one. I'm happy with either. I hope both women have fun. I'll take either one. As long as Chelsea and Mishin are in the final, I'm a happy camper, and I'll be hitting the I love you, Triple H. I love you, Paul Levesque. Either way. Listen, let's talk about it. Bianca Belair, Piper Niven, an absolute banger tonight on SmackDown. Shout out to Bianca Belair. Shout out to Piper Niven looking like $1,000,001 tonight on SmackDown. Bianca Belair getting a big win here with a little rib injury. She got a little KT tape on the ribs. She hit that crazy KOD on Piper Niven on top of Chelsea Green. Chelsea Green got a little deflated there. Gets a huge win here. Byron, we go backstage a couple segments later when you see Dirty Dominic Mysterio backstage. Byron talks a little bit to Bianca and Naomi about who attacked Jade. And Byron says, well, I know for a fact Piper didn't do it because she was in Gorilla watching your match. Whoa, let's talk about it. Bianca's looked a little nervous. Naomi also kind of looked a little nervous. Could it be that one of those two attacked Jade? My money is on the EST attacking Jade. All right, let's be real here. We knew this was coming. We knew these two were going to have a rivalry at some point. You got two of the most polarizing, dominant, I don't want to sound corny here, but aura professional wrestlers. You've got the EST. You've got Jade Cargill. These two women, this screams big marquee match, WrestleMania, the feud, the friends turn bitter foes. This has got all the workings of just top tier cinema, as the kids on social media like to say. That I know. Look, I know a lot of people may not want to see them pitted against each other. I hear you. I hate to see it. It is what it is. But when you have these two, these are two of the biggest women's professional wrestlers. Let's scratch that. Nay. These are two of the biggest superstars in the world. Head to head on a stage like WrestleMania, you got to do it. That's printing money. That's why your WrestleMania tickets are $5,000, because this WrestleMania in Vegas is going to be even bigger than WrestleMania 40 and bigger than WrestleMania 39 and bigger than 38 and bigger than 37 and so on and so forth. Every WrestleMania gets bigger and badder and better and to the next level. So Bianca has been acting extra sus. It's gonna shock the system, pun intended. Never in my life. I've told you many a times. You've heard me say it all. Wayne's heard me say it. Rick's heard me say it. Tommy Feds has heard me say it. The rest of you viewing this have probably heard me say this. Bianca Belair is your, right here, you see it? Right there. Is your John Cena for that division. To see her go heel, if she does, not only is that rivalry money, but that also blows the minds of everybody. Put that on the same level of Bayley and her initial heel turn when she cut up the wacky inflatable flailing tube men and the Bayley buddies, and she cut them up, and you had kids in the audience crying. I expect the same thing to happen. I don't know. Something just screams Bianca did it. It was Bianca all along. And listen, who's running the show right now? Triple H, Shawn Michaels. What was one of the best hits? What was one of their greatest hits? The reveal that Triple H was the one that took out Shawn and set up one of the most blood-inducing rivalries in professional wrestling history. I see you, Triple H. I see you, Shawn Michaels. I see the hits getting played. You heard me say it earlier. I'll pop it up again. That little dirty Dominic Mysterio in the background talking to Nick Aldis. What is this guy scheming up here? What could this guy be scheming up? You think he's finally said, I got to get out of Raw? He finally realized Liv may be a little loco, a little too loco for his liking, and maybe he's got to escape to the Blue brand. Little Dom Mysterio going on his own, being his own man. I don't know. That's a name. Talk to me, people. Transfer window. I want to see some predictions before this nightcap is over tonight, because I'm going into NXT deadline predictions. So I want to see some predictions on who you think is transferring from Raw, SmackDown, NXT, and where they're going. Put that in the comment. Put that in the comments, ladies and gentlemen. Dirty Dom ready for some Tiffy time. Oh, baby, we did tease that a few weeks ago, Wayne. We did tease that. Dom said to Liv, nah. But he looked and said, maybe. If Dom Mysterio, most diabolical Dom, if he can pull off the trifecta, Hall of Famer. Put him in the Hall of Fame. Put the jersey in the rafters right now. If he can go from Rhea Ripley to Liv Morgan to Tiffany Stratton, all in the span of a year, put that man's jersey in the rafters. Put that man's statue on the front lawn at WWE headquarters. Put this man in a Hall of Fame today. We don't even need to wait till WrestleMania weekend. We're doing an impromptu Hall of Fame induction ceremony just for Dirty Dominic Mysterio. Diabolical Dom on the case. My goodness, if he pulls off that, I'll lose my mind. Absolute diabolical booking by Triple H and diabolical Dom. He's no longer Dirty Dom in my book. That man is diabolical. Crazy. It'd be insane, folks. I'm getting a look right now. Look, if looks could kill, folks. When we do the nightcap, we record the nightcap in front of a live studio audience. And when I say live studio audience, I mean one person in particular, and that's Mrs. Mouthing Off with Mike. So I'm getting the look. So we're going to move on to the new U.S. champion, or as I can't spell here tonight, the champion, the new U.S. champion, Shinsuke Nakamura. LA Knight comes out. He's got his mist protectors on. Here you go. How you doing? Now I got to be careful. Mrs. Mouthing Off with Mike. She might hit me with the mist now, so I got to put my mist protectors on. And he absolutely gets his ass stomped out. Him, Andrade, by the new bloodline. Jacob Fatu, Tama Tonga, Mr. Yeah. And of course, I love you, Solo, my tribal chief, Solo Sikoa. Shinsuke. I mean, they didn't want to mess with Shinsuke. They did not put hands on Shinsuke. Shinsuke started leaking that black tar mist from his mouth, and they said, nah. Soul said, nah. Let him go. Let him go. You're good. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Just let him go. This new Shinsuke Nakamura, in the words of the great Scottish psychopath Drew McIntyre, I prayed for this, and it happened. I am a Shinsuke Nakamura mark. I don't care what you call me. I'm a fan. I'm a stan. I'm a lover, not a fighter. Listen, I love Shinsuke Nakamura. I have loved Shinsuke Nakamura. I love you, Shinsuke Nakamura. I love you, Triple H. Because my God, this is the presentation. This is the attitude. This is it for me right now. This is firing on all cylinders. It is near perfect reestablishment of one of the greatest wrestlers, sports entertainers, fill in the blank, that we have seen of a generation. Shinsuke Nakamura does not get the love he get. I think that's Muda's miss too. It is. It is. Muda him and Muda had a match, I remember. And if I remember correctly, didn't Shinsuke suck the mist from his mouth? And like after everything was said and done, and he got the what do you call it? He got like the seal, like Muda passed it on to him. Because that's if I'm correct, Dami, I know you're big on that side. Man, my brain, sometimes my brain, man, that lizard brain of mine when it comes to professional wrestling, sometimes it's there for me, sometimes it's not. Got Fiend vibes with that makeup and mask today. Nah, man, Shinsuke Nakamura, coming, it's like he got plucked right out of Shogun, man. Like this character, this vibe, this, lone dark samurai vibe that I'm getting from him, man. Like, this is what I've been waiting for. Like, I loved charismatic Nakamura. I loved, doing the song, the violin, like, but I need, like, real talk. We needed like a character like this back. Whether he stays on SmackDown, whether he gets transferred to Raw, either way, I see things going all over the map here. I'm going to be 100% honest with you. Like, in my personal opinion, I think everything's swapping. I think the whole sets of titles I think everything's swapping overall. Like, I could definitely see the IC title on SmackDown, the US title on Raw. I could see the women's US titles going to Raw. I could see that women's IC title on SmackDown, so on and so forth, with the world titles for the women and the men's. I could see everything flipping around. Netflix paid $10 billion for Raw. You don't think, like Rick 8-Bit said earlier, you got to start thinking like a Netflix admin. If you don't think they're going to get every superstar that they want, outside of maybe one or two, you're out your damn mind. Raw's going to be loaded. SmackDown is going to go back to that 2004 vibe where you had the young up-and-comers proving themselves, which created the next generation of professional wrestling thanks to Paul Heyman. 2003, 2004, 2005 SmackDown, that was top-tier business. 02, you can even say, right? The Brock Lesnar, the Randy Ortons, the John Cenas, the Rey Mysterios, the list goes on and on and on. The Batista, right? That set a decade for WWE. And further on, that's very well what SmackDown could become when this transfer portal is finished with. We could see the young guns running SmackDown, trying to make a name for themselves. A guy like Carmelo Hayes, a guy like Trick Williams, a guy like Obafemi, Gunther, Braun Breaker. Raw, I completely agree. Raw's going to be back to the A show. Raw's going to be so stacked with that. We're going to probably have to question, whoa, damn. You know what I mean? Because you're going to have a lot of star power. Like, it's crazy. I was talking today with a friend of mine, and we were talking about how WWE hasn't had multiple massive stars really since, that Attitude Era into that Ruthless Aggression era. Like that era. Like, you could say you had Cena, you had Orton, you had Mysterio, you had Taker, but not like for like the next, generation. Taker was a generational guy. He's been around for, 30 years, was in the game. You know, Rey Mysterio was around prior to that. Like they made an impact in WWE and they became household names because of it. But like you're at a point now where you are seeing the youth funnel right up the system. Like this is something that's like it's unprecedented. You've got talent just going from an NIL deal. Now you have the WWE ID program, which is another huge thing because if NXT gets gutted with the transfer, you could make the argument that a ton of these WWE ID superstars fill NXT up. And NXT could go back to feeling like that old black and gold indie vibe that we all know and love. And that could also spell problems for AEW. Because if somehow NXT gets rated and you see a lot of this talent end up on Raw and SmackDown for these 3-hour shows, because we know SmackDown's going to 3, we know Raw's going back to 3. That's 6 hours of wrestling content you have to provide. And on top of NXT, 2 hours a week. So you've got this WWID program that's going to funnel these indie wrestlers right into NXT, and they're ready. They just need to get the timing down, and maybe they have to scale down their moveset a little bit to kind of fall in line so that they have longevity, right? As we know, the WWE style of wrestling is completely different from an independent or an AEW, you know, from other companies. So it's like, all right, you funnel WWE ID program in there. You have the NIL kind of on the back end funneling in together. Now you're pulling the rest of NXT right now. If you were to, in theory, take what you have in NXT and then just distribute that to Raw, SmackDown, boom. Now you have a wide open territory where you fill in with those NIL athletes. You fill in with these indie young guys and gals right in the middle. They train one another, right? Because athletes bring a certain level of athleticism and kind of like presentation where the wrestlers from the indies bring their characters, bring their wrestling knowledge and their training where they can kind of work well with that set of athletes. They can kind of come together. And then you have on top of all of this, the NXT coaching and training support and the performance center. So you put all of those 3 things together, you are set. You are so set that this is going to be like we've called WWE the machine. This is going to be a machine, a well-oiled machine. It's going to be untouchable. And if NXT does go back to that NXT, WWE went back to their old ways, just snatching it all up. No, look, it's going to be an interesting thing. I'm not sure how it's going to impact the indies. Like it is what it is. But it's very interesting to think of the scenario where if NXT becomes that old black and gold brand, you're going to have a really hard conversation to have about AEW. Because that's why a lot of your fans went, because NXT Black and Gold was dismantled by Vince. Everyone went to AEW because in the early time, that's kind of what it was. That's the feeling it had. And then AEW, somewhere along the way, lost its course and WWE got better. Thanks to Triple H, thanks to Shawn Michaels. So if NXT ends up going back to its old roots and you start seeing a lot of indie talent from that WWE ID program and these NIL athletes and they get that gritty feeling back because it's starting to feel gritty again. Like the presentation of CW NXT is way different than what it used to be on USA and completely different from Black and Gold, of course. And of course, 2.0 or 2.0 So Horny. But man, it's something to keep an eye on. And I didn't mean to go on a massive friggin' tangent here, viewers. I'm sorry, but I started cooking low key. They can't scrap it all for Raw. They got to leave some major players. USA and CW will want to cut. No, it's true. It's all about kind of finding that happy middle ground. But I definitely think that if Netflix asks for someone and USA and CW are like, whatever, yeah, I think Netflix is going to get the better end of this deal. And it's just going to come down to the talent filling in those gaps. But it opens up a lot of opportunity then for all of these talents that are getting signed and all of the talent that you could showcase on a SmackDown. Like I said, reminiscent of the, early SmackDowns where you had the young superstars running the show and be trying to make a name for themselves. Triple H was the last class of wrestling school talent. See? That's what I'm saying. Tommy Feds. Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. I've enjoyed SmackDown more than Raw lately. Interesting how it all works out. Another 100%. This past Raw was fantastic. You heard me in the Prez, Michael Davis of Boom Broadcasting, talk about it. Yeah, feels like he wants to bring that back to how these guys get trained. Yeah, 100%. 100%, Tommy. And then, of course, today, the announcement of LFG, the training show that WWE is going to have. And you've got Mickey James and Triple H and Shawn Michaels and is it Bubba Ray that's going to be training, and they're going to be giving you a look at talent as they're trained and show you what it takes to become a WWE superstar. It's, obviously it's basically Tough Enough, but like going to be a little bit better on A&E. Listen, this WWE is never 2024, 2023, 2022, I would say 2023, 2024, and into 2025. We'll see how it goes, with this everything, but WWE could have the chance to go on the craziest heater right now and just be stacked and stacked and stacked and stacked and hot and momentum, and just they could be on a trajectory for possibly the greatest WWE era of all time. Like, that's a spicy ass take from your boy. But if they keep this up, I will debate that with just about anybody in the future. Give it 5 years, 10 years. I will debate that this era of WWE could be argued as one of the greatest of its entire history. WWE Tag Team Championship match. The Motor City Machine Guns versus DIY was supposed to be the Street Profits tonight, ladies and gentlemen. The Street Profits were mysteriously attacked. We've gotten a lot of mysteriously attacked segments over the last couple of weeks across all of professional wrestling. There was one on AEW. There was one on Raw. There was one on NXT. There's been one on SmackDown. We've got mysteriously attacked all over the place. Who is this mysterious attacker? And why are they hopping brands? Now, let's be for real. We know who did this. DIY did this, and it has been confirmed and new WWE Tag Team Champions, two-time DIY, Johnny Gargano, Tommaso Ciampa, and we've got a heel DIY. We told you right here on the Nightcap. Dami Feds is my witness. He heard it. He said it. We all said it a few weeks ago. Wouldn't it be swell? Wouldn't it be nice if Johnny and Ciampa both turned heel? And that took place against the Motor City Machine Guns. Ladies and gentlemen, Johnny Gargano low-blowed this man. They faked this out, pushing Ciampa. Ciampa's walking away, gets the chair, puts it in the ring. The ref's like, "Yo, what are you doing, bro? No chairs. This is a title match. You're going to get disqualified." Johnny Gargano says, fuck that. Boom. Nut shot. New tag champs. Let's go, baby. Let's go. DIY. I'm back. Two massive babyface tag teams. The New Day, DIY, heels, same week. I'm thriving. I know my good brother Chano Hayes at Four Sides of the Ring. Shout out to Chano. He's thriving. You heard him say a couple weeks ago, he loves him heels. We got it, ladies and gentlemen. We're back. DIY. We had a little celebration with Candice LeRae. I wouldn't be shocked if we called up Austin Theory. Maybe we get a little bit of a reuniting of the Way. Maybe a slide Grayson Waller in there too. Maybe the Way 2.0 or something. And, while we're talking about it, well, who's somebody that would have a problem with Johnny reforming the Way? Who? Oh, yeah, I know who. Dexter Loomis and the Wyatt Six. Triple H, if you hear me, there's wheels to be put in motion here, sir. Wyatt Six, going for Johnny, Ciampa, Candice, Theory, throw Waller in the mix. I don't know. Listen, hear me out. Great match here tonight, though. Tag champs, I'm here for it. I like it. That's all that matters. Michael Cole sits down with Kevin Owens in Kevin Owens' car. I love this, ladies and gentlemen. This was perfect. Perfect. Kevin Owens is not a man that does things the usual way. Kevin Owens, strong advocate for calling out wrestling tropes, strong advocate for all things just fantastic. I love Kevin Owens. I'm a Kevin Owens guy. Kevin Owens, Cody Rhodes is a very torn match for me. When I do my Saturday night main event predictions next week, I'm going to be in hell because I want Cody to retain. I want Kevin to win. I want both guys to be world champions right now. Like Kevin Owens deserves it. Cody Rhodes deserves it. Like both guys could be world champion and I'd be fine with it. I don't know who I would lean more towards. I guess Cody, because I want to see Cody have a nice title reign, which leads me to believe shenanigans are afoot in that title match. But I love Kevin Owens making Michael Cole come out to his rental car to do this interview. And then Michael Cole brings up the fact that Jey Uso, Jimmy Uso, and Sami Zayn have all helped Roman Reigns, just like Cody Rhodes, and you don't seem to have a problem with them. And he goes, Jimmy and Jey are family. I don't care about them. They don't matter to me. And Sami Zayn, I'll cross that bridge when I have to. Oh, baby. Oh, baby. They know what to say to get me going. Sami Zayn, I'll cross that bridge when I have to. You know KO is not happy after everything that Sami Zayn went through with the bloodline and Kevin Owens went with the bloodline. You know KO is not going to let this shit slide for Sami to put his tail between his legs and rejoin the original bloodline. I'm just going to say that right here. So great segment here. And of course, ladies and gentlemen, the main event here of Friday Night SmackDown, Cody Rhodes versus Chad Gable. A fantastic match, a great showing here for Chad Gable. Chad Gable worked the ankle the whole match here with Cody Rhodes. Cody Rhodes gets the win. Gable went for the moonsault. Cody was able to counter into the crossroads. 1, 2, 3. Chad Gable sold that crossroads like $1 million. Chad Gable sells moves so fucking good. He sold that Sister Abigail every time he took it from Uncle Howdy. So good. He takes that crossroads so good. Him and Mello have the best sells for the crossroads up to this point for me personally. Cody Rhodes gets attacked by Kevin Owens. He focuses on that ankle of his. And you know, Cody Rhodes and Kevin Owens next Saturday, Cody's going to be limping and it's going to be the Cody baby face come over the obstruction in his way, the hurdle in his way, and he's going to end up beating Kevin Owens. But like I said, I think shenanigans are afoot. And I hear voices. I hear voices in my head, and they tell me Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes match doesn't end cleanly. I hear those voices. Shout out to Logan James. Hello, Logan James. Welcome into the Nightcap. Frequent flyer. We love him. Shout out to Logan James. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you subscribe to Boom Broadcasting. We've got all sorts of content. We had Out of Pocket this afternoon with the president, Michael Davis, where he finally admitted that I was right all along. Now, I didn't know that my Arizona State Sun Devils would be in the Big 12 championship for the first year in the Big 12 conference. They told us we would finish last tomorrow, noon, Eastern time from Arlington, Texas, the Prez's favorite team's stadium. He's going to watch my Arizona State Sun Devils do something the Cowboys can't do in that stadium, and that's win, ladies and gentlemen. Shout out to Boom Broadcasting. Go subscribe. Ladies and gentlemen, right after here, the Nightcap is coming to its close, but don't leave me because stay right here on my social media. I'm going to do it every time. At MOWM_podcast, or head over to my YouTube, Mouthing Off with Mike Wrestling Podcast. Just type that in. You'll find me. You'll see it. I'm going to be doing my NXT Deadline predictions for tomorrow. NXT Deadline Premium Live event. I will be back live in about 5 minutes, ladies and gentlemen. So please make sure you subscribe to Boom Broadcasting and just don't go anywhere, because if you like what I do here, then you're going to love what I do on my own YouTube when it comes to Mouthing Off with Mike. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching the Nightcap. Go subscribe to Boom Broadcasting. Go show some love to Wayne for Sideline Savants, Jason for 3 from Deep, Shannon for Quick Hits, Sean for Wrestling of Destiny and Its Things. Go show some love to Carson for the Lombardi Party. Go show love to Aaron Schneider for the Gridiron Address. Go show love to the Prez Mike Davis for Dad and the Boys, for Ada Pocket, for Drop the Mic, for Behind the Mic. There's so many shows here on Boom Broadcasting. You just don't have enough time to watch them all, but you should still subscribe. I'll be back here in about 5 minutes for the NXT Deadline predictions. And of course, tomorrow after NXT Deadline, back on Boom Broadcasting, I will be live with the Nightcap after Deadline with Nit Ram from Four Sides of the Ring and one half of the Black Masses and Constellations podcast, Tortellini. So don't miss it. I'm out of here for right now. I'll see you back here in 5 and mouthing off with Mike.